Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested by federal agents at a hotel here in the city. Combs had been living there for several weeks. A person with knowledge of the investigation told NBC News the arrest was based on a sealed indictment brought by the Southern District of New York. The contents of the indictment won't be known until later today, but Combs is facing a wave of lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault and misconduct.
Don Richards spilled a huge amount of tea, therefore technically Diddy is handcuffed. Diddy has, as you are aware, faced criticism for many years, but Don has exposed him in a manner that nobody anticipated, as shown by the ridiculous invoices she brought with her. Her admission was sufficient to prompt Diddy's arrest at last by the police.
I can't even go into detail. He was like, y'all don't want it. Y'all don't want it. Y'all don't. And I was like, why are you talking so loud? And I've kind of always, been respectful. I've never really went out of line with Puff. I threw my purse down. I was like, well, you want to go? We can go. There was this chess battle that happened to him. And I think everybody's eyes was like, Dawn. Like, D-Rock was looking at me like, little bit. Like, where you going to go? And I think that was the first time Puff was like, yeah, I needed to maybe slow down on that moment. That was my first time both of us seeing a side that I don't think we've ever saw.
A chess match was in progress. Dawn, judging by the look on everyone's faces, I felt like D-Rock was asking me, where are you going with that? It was also, I believe, the first time I had the thought that maybe, just maybe, I need to slow down. Though I doubt any of us had seen that side before, it was the first time I had ever seen it. If you're wondering how we ended ourselves here, it all began when Dawn Richards, a former member of Danity Kane, made the decision to break her silence. She watched Diddy manage his business for years, and she was terrified by what she witnessed. Diddy isn't the only one connected to this catastrophe, either. In addition, Dawn has offered new information about Usher's purported participation, demonstrating how much more complex this narrative is than we first realized. Let's look at what Dawn disclosed about Diddy's company, his control over musicians, the hostile atmosphere he fostered, and the breadth of his influence. Keep an eye out as we investigate Usher's startling involvement in all of this. Usher saw some of these dubious occurrences after learning about them from Diddy, so his participation is sure to raise a lot of issues. Let's begin with Dawn's shocking admission before delving into the specifics of what transpired.
Diddy touched her places she didn't want to be touched. She witnessed women being given substances to make them be put unconscious and then assaulted. She said she saw Diddy's assistant assaulted at a pool with a bunch of people. And something happens that after that happened to her, Diddy jumped on a plane and left her in the UK. You serious? This is getting old.
Dawn Richards is thus more than simply a former member of Danity Kane for others who aren't as acquainted. She studied Diddy's business management strategies after years of close observation. Dawn revealed some startling facts about Diddy in her testimony, revealing the real nature of his conversations with other artists, Danity Kane, and others in his near vicinity. She played a guy who used threats and intimidation to push his artists to the verge of madness. During their demanding sessions, Diddy was accused of depriving her and the other members of Danity Kane of basic needs like food and sleep. This was one of the worst accusations she levied. She remembered that sometimes they rehearsed non-stop for as long as 48 hours, until they were worn out. And Diddy would silence their cries for food or a break by calling them lazy and suggesting that their motivation to succeed was weak. However, the tale does not end there. Dawn said that Diddy's unpredictable conduct during these lengthy sessions contributed to the risk aspect, since he was often intoxicated on illicit drugs. She spoke about his gatherings at the studio, where he invited young females to have sex. According to Dawn, these kinds of occasions often saw unacceptable conduct that crossed several boundaries. She related tales of how Diddy and his friends would touch and prowl these ladies, making them feel uneasy. Let's now discuss Dawn's evidence, which was crucial in persuading the authorities to act. She didn't just state these things without providing any evidence to back them up. She carried receipts with her. Reports state that Dawn presented not just tangible proof, but also the accounts of several witnesses who corroborated her story. She submitted several papers detailing the abuse she and other artists had through. Additionally, there have been rumors about audio and video recordings that purport to show Diddy in inappropriate settings. Diddy's arrest resulted from the authorities being unable to ignore the evidence, which was overwhelming. Don's evidence makes it quite evident that the main tenets of Diddy's business were coercion, abuse, and terror. Suddenly, everything is collapsing around him. But Diddy is not the only party to this disagreement. Usher, one of the most well-known musicians and someone with an impeccable reputation, is also associated with this issue. We have to go all the way back to Usher's early career to see how he fits into this.
Discovered when he was 14 years old by P. Diddy. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2012, he admitted that Puff Daddy had brought him to sex parties and exposed him to drugs when he signed to the record label. The cycle would repeat. Puff Daddy found Justin Bieber around the same age as when he found Usher. According to Justin Bieber's own, Puff Daddy corrupted her son, pressuring him to go to these drug-fueled sex parties. This all becomes even more given the R. Kelly level allegations brought up against Sean Puffy Combs this past year. Countless other women and men all tell the same story of being drugged and SA'd by P. Diddy. P. Diddy admitted to murdering people to keep this all quiet.
Usher was assigned to live with Diddy when he was 14 years old in order to get experience in the music industry. At the time, Diddy was well known in the business, and Usher's family believed Diddy could turn Usher into a household star. In retrospect, however, it may not have been the wisest choice given the persistent rumors that Diddy exposed Usher to improper material when he was there. It's clear that Usher feels uneasy when talking about his time living with Diddy in interviews. The interview that really sticks out is Usher's one with Howard Stern, when he spoke about witnessing some strange things while he was at Diddy's mansion. He didn't go into much detail, but what he did say was sufficient to draw attention. Usher said that the location was wild, and that he didn't completely comprehend certain aspects of the culture at the time. After moving to New York City, I spent a year living with Sean Puffy Combs. Since Usher was subjected to circumstances that no adolescent should have to cope with, there has been conjecture for years that she was one of Diddy's victims. Regarding his friendship with Usher, Diddy has made some odd remarks in the meantime. He once said that he and Usher would share strange anecdotes as they slept in the same bed. Don's secrets have now been disclosed, and Usher's name resurfaces in a far worse context. Don claims that Usher was more than just a bystander throughout some of Diddy's most distressing incidents. Don alleges that even though Usher saw Diddy acting abusively, particularly at an event with Cassie, he did nothing. Don related how Cassie passed out from agony after Daddy reportedly hit her in the stomach in front of a large group of renowned people at a dinner party. Don claims that despite Usher and other celebrities being there at the event, nobody approached Cassie to offer assistance. Fans are now doubting the information they previously believed to be accurate regarding Usher. If Don's charges are accurate, Usher had the choice to ignore Diddy's combative actions. Being a victim is one thing, but it's quite another if Usher chose to keep quiet while being aware of what was going on. Many people are seeing Usher differently in light of this news and questioning if he is really as innocent as we have been made to think. The supporters believe they have been deceived. The outpouring of negative feedback on social media makes it clear that many individuals are not happy. According to one user, it's very awful that you're still in contact with the individual who exposed you to such reprehensible conduct and behaves in such a manner. A gang of amiable birds gathers. Someone else said that Diddy showed they're ahead of the minions. This takes us to Diddy's company's poisonous culture, which appears to have been there for a while. It has long been known that Puffy Flavor Camp, Diddy's legendary home, acts as the hub for crazy events. This lavish lifestyle ensnared even younger prodigies and up-and-coming musicians such as Usher. Several reports, like Don Richards, claim Diddy used this setting to manipulate and mold other people's lives, particularly those of up-and-coming musicians eager to make a name for themselves. Regarding the treatment of Danity Kane in particular throughout their ascent to prominence, Don Richards has been outspoken. With little time off for meals or relaxation, the girls trained for 48 hours. Diddy would push them over the brink. His strategies were often brutal. Don shared tales of how he would continually call the girls' names and make light of their efforts. This kind of mistreatment wasn't limited to Danity Kane. Numerous musicians and former Diddy collaborators have shared their own stories of harassment throughout the years. For a very long period, he has been accused of everything from verbal abuse to unscrupulous business tactics.
Has been arrested in New York City after a grand jury indictment, and we have the breaking news. Charges in the indictment are unknown. Billboard has confirmed the arrest. The rap mogul has been hit with 8 civil lawsuits alleging sexual abuse over the past year. Now, according to TMZ, Diddy taken into federal custody at the FBI's Manhattan field office.
Due to the several lawsuits Diddy is now facing and the possibility of federal prosecution, he may be in grave legal jeopardy. It's all a result of the startling testimony of Don Richards. Sources close to the investigation said that since federal officials suspect that young women are being exploited, they are investigating a range of offenses, including potential human trafficking and racketeering. If the proof is shown in court, he may get a lengthy prison sentence. Moreover, there is an increasing chance that Usher may get involved in this legal issue. Don has been quiet so far, but as the investigation becomes more intense and Don comes out with additional information, there is worry that he could be a witness or someone who helped Diddy carry out his crimes. As this strange story draws to a finish, it's becoming more obvious that Diddy's arrest was a turning point. As the investigation continues, further charges can be brought against him, indicating how seriously the authorities are considering these allegations. This is the true query I have for all of you. Do you believe that Diddy and Usher share equal blame? Or could it be that, like so many others before him, he's simply another innocent person entangled in Diddy's web,